Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. Well, there is a story that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, my brother, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am even ashamed of myself. There are many times when I even try to get down on my knees, trying to speak with God over even some small issues that will be affecting me. But when I start to think of all the things that I did with the men of God, I feel so ashamed of myself. Hence, I have come here on your platform so that I can ask some important questions that have been troubling me for the past 5 years. My husband, he passed away. This was 8 years ago. And after my husband had passed away, that was when the pastor's wife told me that as a church, they wanted to do something good for me so that I'll be able to sustain myself and my children. And I then started working for the church. Whilst I was working for the church, it never even crossed my mind that all along, even when my husband was still alive, the pastor had set his eyes on me. He only told me one day after he had successfully taken me to bed, and when he made me to think that by sleeping with him, I was actually doing a service for the church as well for God. He said that it was far much better for him to sleep with me rather for him to go in the street and seek services from prostitutes. So he said, what is better for me to sleep with you, for you to give me what you have, than for me to go out there and get a woman who will end up infecting me? Do you not feel sorry for the pastor's wife? And he manipulated me so much that when I was sleeping with him, since I am someone who was not going to infect him with an STI or any disease, I actually thought that I was doing his wife a favor, because by sleeping with me, he was not going out there to get some STIs or several diseases. It all started, my brother, like I said, after my husband had passed away. Then the church offered me a job. I worked for a very long time with the pastor. Each and every time, I would actually even see that the pastor was a true man of God, because not even a single time did he ever showed me that he had feelings for me. It was only after we were really close, like maybe he was pulling me along all this time, wanting to see if you will be able to trust me. This other trip, when we had left the country going overseas, there was some stuff that we had to buy, and he was also starting a new church, but he was starting this new church in collaboration with his other friend who already had his ministry in that country where we had gone to. And on this trip, it was him and some elders from church that were accompanying him, and his wife was the one who remained behind. That is when it all happened. We were booked in a hotel, and strange enough, he said that he wanted a room that was close to me, and I didn't even expect that this man, when he had booked these rooms in such a way, he wanted to be close with me. And later on, he then sent one of the elders so that they can come and call me so that I can go to the pastor's room. I then went there thinking that maybe there was a church service or a Bible study of a sort that he wanted to have with us. But when I arrived in his room, I found out that it was only him, and he was actually not dressed in a formal dressing like he used to do all the time when he was around me. He was relaxed, wearing some casual shirts. He was relaxed and wearing some casual shorts, and he started speaking with me about a lot of stuff, and that was when he started touching me. When I refused that, I didn't want him to touch me in such a way, he then said that what was happening was that he was in need of a woman, and his wife for a very long time, since she had gone on a fasting period, she was not allowed by God to have him sleep with her, since this was a prayer that she wanted to do, and she had to be holy all the times. So I said, then you have to respect what God has said. He then said that whilst we were on the trip, when he was speaking with the Holy Spirit had said that the Holy Spirit had allowed him like to sleep with me, just like what Abraham did with his own servant. Since I was his maid servant, I was just like in that same situation, so I could sleep with him. This thing, it terrified me. I was not prepared like to do this adulterous act with my own pastor, the man that I looked up to, the man whom my late husband looked up to. But he convinced me, Brother Nashi, until he took me to his bed. The final breaking point was when he said that it is fine when you have decided to disrespect the orders of the Holy Spirit, then I am left with no choice but to go into the street so that I can seek the services of a sinful woman. By this, he meant that he was going to have a prostitute and bring her into his hotel room. And he said that, and this prostitute, most of them, they will be sick anyway. So this means that my wife is going to suffer. He didn't say that my wife, he said that the pastor's wife, as if he was not the pastor. When he mentioned his wife, I felt so much hurt and guilt in my heart, because I knew that in this moment, if he was going to seek the services of a prostitute, then if he was going to get the virus, then this meant that his wife was going to die from a virus that she didn't know about. So I then found myself doing these services. I slept with him, and from that day onwards, we started sleeping together. This was like on a regular basis. We were actually sleeping with each other almost each and every time. Since I was now working with him very closely, whenever I would be with him in his office, we will always make love. It even reached a point in our lives whereby I fell pregnant for him. This happened 2 times, and when I would fall pregnant for him, then he will say that you need to have an abortion because we cannot have a child whereby I didn't marry you like properly. We need to have a wedding. But he was just manipulating me. How was we going to have a wedding if he was married, his wife was still alive, and there was no way that he was going to get divorced from his wife? I believed in my brother. So for the past 5 years, I slept with this pastor. He would come over to my house, and I would take him to my matrimonial bed, the one that I used to share with my own late husband. What then started happening, my brother, is that whenever I would complain about us having this relationship, we now say that we need to think properly about what we are doing. Are we doing this thing for life, or is it just for fun? He never wanted to give me any answer at all. Even up until today, he has not yet managed to give me an answer. Hence, I have come here on your platform. For the past 5 years, I have been sleeping with this pastor, and he has made me to feel as if this thing that I am doing, I am actually doing myself a favor. Last time that I was with him, when I complained about this relationship that is so confusing to me, because he doesn't want me to see, he doesn't want to see me with other men. Whenever he is at my place, he takes my phone and he forces me to insert my password. He scrolls through my banking account, he scrolls through my messages, anything that is in my phone. He always questions me. If he finds a phone number of a man, it doesn't matter if we go to the same church with this man, he would delete the numbers, and he does not give me reasons as to why he deletes these numbers. So I have come here on your platform so that you can help me to understand what exactly am I to my pastor. Does he loves me? Because he does not mention love, but he always wants me around. He does not want me to date another man. He has never told me that he doesn't want me to date another man. But whenever I joke around and when I tell him that there is a man that I want to date, he can even take my phone and threaten to smash my phone. He can even threaten me. So I am really confused. For the past 5 years, I have been living in this confused life, and I don't know what to do anymore. Hence, I have come on your platform just seeking for any advice that I can get from your followers. Last time I had a dream, and in my dream it was my late husband. He seemed not to be happy with what I was doing, but when I spoke with my pastor, he then gave me some things that he said that I should use them when I'll be bathing. From there on, I have never had a dream again of my husband. I used to dream about my husband a lot, but ever since I used those prayers to bath with, he has stopped visiting me in my dreams. Please help me. What am I supposed to do in this situation? Should I just hang around as his side chick, or should I just walk away? This man, he seems to be very faithful. He can even give me his phone when he is with me, and he can say that, look, I can even scroll through his Facebook pages just to see if he is dating anyone, but he is not dating anyone. He is only dating me. But where he has placed me, I am in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if I am in love or if I am not in love. I don't know if it is high time for me to see myself as his next wife, or I am someone who is always going to be his side chick. Because why did he make me to have an abortion if he wanted me to become his wife? But at the same time, maybe he wants me to be his wife because of the things that he does whenever I joke around, and when I tell him that I want to date another man, he can become so violent towards me. And the way that he becomes so violent, I have heard people saying that when someone loves you, if you joke around as if you do not love them, that is what they do. Please help me. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins, and we had to give you this translation. Yo, it seems as if we are living in the last days.